straight in, new album out this month now, isn't it? So Afraid of Tomorrow's. It's June. It's
Yeah.
June now. We're in. Were you just checking
Sorry, I
then?
was just checking.
Yeah. So how are you feeling ahead of release? What's it like in the camp?
Good, really good. We've been in practice all week, so for the in-stores, and yeah, it's just been nice to actually revisit the songs in like a different light. And yeah, I think we're all buzzing for it to come out, to be honest.
Yeah. And I think I've seen something say it's deeper and darker. So can you talk me through that kind of sonic progression from album one?
I think it's just a bit more of ours, to be honest. I think we just like put more of our influence into it and like where we're at now as a band and like people. And um yeah,
Mm.
I think people are gonna take what they want from it really, and if people think it's deeper and darker, then perhaps it is. I suppose there's more honesty in it.
Yeah. Because the music kind of feel like it straddles like it sums it up with the Frank Carter support slot, and then you've got a Block Party support slot. Do you feel like you've found yourself in like either side of two genres with your songs?
I think it's more like, I don't know, I feel like the first one was kind of a little bit all over the place as well, but I think that's purely because we're kind of influenced by like so much stuff
Mm.
individually, and then to kind of like combine all that, it's kind of, I don't know, I feel like it's a bit all over the place, but in a good way. Do you know what I mean? You kind of song to song is it's a different world. Do you know what I mean? Which I always like. I like bands who do that. It's not, it's not the same song 11 times. I think if we were to
Yeah.
make a third, it'd probably be the same again, just because there'd be more influences on top of the ones that we've already got.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's just purely just us trying to kind of express ourselves
Yeah.
as much as possible.
Mhm.
It opens up more avenues because you get like you look at Pale Waves who are on the indie festival bills, and then they can play like Slam Dunk and things like that. So I think it'll definitely play to your advantage. You got a top 10 album with the debut. Do you have any aspirations in terms of charts? Does that even come into the thinking ahead of album two?
I think it's really difficult with the charts nowadays because, I mean, to be honest, when we first got the top 10, I didn't even know the chart still existed. Like I like fully didn't really understand how it kind of like is measured. And I think in a way, I think we're all pretty naive to that. And I
Mm.
think that probably works in our favor, to be honest.
I do
Um,
think it's definitely become like more of a thing
mm,
recently, like fans, like
yeah,
and I think as well, it's like a lot of bands are doing this thing where it's like there's 20 versions of the album and all that
Yeah.
kind of shit. I don't think we'll ever do that. Well, there's a few, but like I think sometimes you can kind of go too far down
Yeah.
that path. I
Mm.
don't really think about the chart position. It's not really like I didn't get into a band to get a number one or whatever.
mhm.
Although a number one would be sound, like the little trophy in that'd be a belter.
Actually, put it in the pracking room.
Yeah, I'll give it to you.
Yeah. I think that comes across though that you kind of do it your own way. But you've obviously came through the Liverpool music scene. Do you feel what's that like to come through in this age? Because obviously you've got all the history that comes with it. How has that been for you?
I think it's great to be like obviously associated with because a lot of our favorite bands are from Liverpool, and you know, yeah, it's there's definitely like a scene coming through, I'd say. I would say though we've always kind of felt like on the outside of it a little bit.
Mm.
Don't know if that's because me and George are from the Wirral, but um, but yeah, yeah, no, it's obviously like it's got such a history and it's super important to us as a band to kind of be a part of that. So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and again, talking about then being on the outskirts of it, though, I do think that's a good thing because it's not you do have your own kind of way of going about it, and is that important to you to stay kind of sincere to what you want to do?
Definitely, yeah. I think we're all quite stubborn, so
Yeah,
we all kind of like um we like the way we do things, and we're not. I don't think we I don't know. If we kind of get asked to do something or something is proposed to us that doesn't feel 100% right, then we just don't do it, and it's maybe kind of goes against us in some ways. But I think it's I don't know. I think it's helpful in others, you know. But yeah, we've always been like that, even since for as long as I can remember. We've always been quite like, we know what kind of band we want to be, and we know what kind of band we don't want to be. So we like stick to our guns.
Yeah, I think that's something that people really like about you. I think that's what warms a lot of people to you. You touched on the in-store dates, so you've got Jacaranda. I know that coming up. I don't know if it's a set. I think I saw Paolo Nutini there, and it was one of the best gigs I've ever seen. So,
Really, yeah.
What like do you prefer that intimate audience, or have you not had much chance at doing that? Did you do in-stores on the previous?
Yeah, we love it.
Yeah, it's boss. It's like it's fun for us to do. Like I said, we've been like reworking the tunes kind of back to how they started when me and Paul were writing them. So it's just nice to kind of revisit them in that way, and it's fun.
I think because we're like so used to like the big, like when you're doing your own headline show, it's more of like a show, isn't it? Whereas these kind of feel like you're just playing your songs in someone's living room.
Yeah,
it's just like it's a bit more relaxed. You know what I mean? But yeah, I really.
You know, the only people who are gonna go are people who actually like, you know, love the music and want to hear the record and stuff. So that's always, it's more comfortable for us to be able to perform with that kind of audience.
Yeah, I was going to ask you how it kind of contrasts to the stage at Old Trafford where you supported Arctics, and obviously you've got Crystal Palace coming up with Block Party. I think have you?
Oh yeah,
looks.
No,
you know that now. I feel like I've just revealed it for you.
we were doing it. I just didn't there, Matt.
Yeah, I think that's next month. So yeah, what is that contrast? You kind of touched on it. How is that for a band? That slot must have been brilliant for Arctic.
Yeah, it was like an honor, really, and there's such a big influence on all of us when we were like kids, so it was kind of a bit surreal at times. Yeah, we just enjoyed it loads, and there's such nice people, and yeah, it was boss, obviously. He's supporting the Octave Monkeys, so he's like
yeah. I remember sitting on a park because I was going it was 2 days, wasn't it? And I was going the day after, and I was just sat in park in Chorlton, and I could hear you sound checking. I was like, I didn't think Old Trafford was that not sound. Well, sorry, opening. And
yeah,
it was incredible. So that got me up for the
playing
day
footy in the
after.
daytime. In the state, we were playing football in the daytime.
That became a bit
in
of
the cricket ground.
Yeah.
Yeah, it became a bit of a tradition that we just kind of go for a kickabout whenever we get to the ground.
I'd be knackered in sound check though.
The Manchester weekends though were like a highlight, I think, of the band in general. It was like the gigs were just ridiculous. It was chocker. So many like friends and family were there, and the weather was unbelievable. It was just like it was the perfect weekend. You know, it was so good.
Well, I was going to come on to the Manchester side of things. How is that for a Liverpool band? Because obviously it's probably easier and I imagine better playing hometown gigs. But there's a rivalry between the two cities in different ways. What is it like when it comes to music?
I love Manchester. We've always had a great time there, and they probably sells out more like before Liverpool actually a lot of the time. And yeah, I feel like we always play well there. We like playing there. I used to live there as well, so a bit of affiliation with the place.
I think Manchester and Liverpool have a lot of disagreements over many things, but I think both cities would agree that the Northwest produced the best music.
Yeah, agreed. So it brings us nicely to Neighbourhood, which is the inner city Manchester festival. Have you played that before? And are you excited about the slot coming up?
Yeah, we played it like
We played the park one, haven't we? The one that was in the park. We've done that.
Yeah.
Weekender.
Yeah, we've done that.
Yeah, it was great.
That was really good actually. I remember it was like one of the first after lockdown. We had like a 20-minute set or something.
Mm.
We were on dead early. We were like, oh, this is going to be a nightmare. But it was fucking great. Like, it was a really great gig, that.
One of my
Um,
favorite gigs of the summer, that I reckon, of that run. Just from
um,
being boss.
but I think we're playing the Ritz, and we played that like a few times now. And it's such a great venue. I feel like it's just every I don't know, every gig that I've been to there has always been great. Every time we've played there, it's been boss. I think it's just such a boss. Manchester's got so many great venues.
Yeah.
I think when you were talking about the Liverpool Manchester thing, that's one thing that Liverpool's kind of lacking on. Manchester's got 5 or 6 amazing venues, and I'd say Liverpool's got 2.
Yeah. Well, Neighbourhood is perfect for a type of festival like Neighbourhood for bringing those kind of grassroots, smaller venues to life really across a day of music. You mentioned you've got 5 favourites. So where else have you enjoyed playing in Manchester?
We've done. Can't think of can't remember where we played, but I've been to loads of gigs at the Albert Hall. That's just like
Yeah.
one of my favourite venues. We've done Band on the Wall. Enjoyed that.
Mm.
The
Um,
Castle.
the castle.
Castle. Gorilla's a great venue.
Yeah,
Yeah,
well, Band on the Wall and Gorilla were both, I think, saved by Tim Burgess, weren't they?
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
are you?
And what's the other one? Deaf Institute. I love that venue.
yeah,
As well.
it's boss.
There's so many. There's so many boss venues in Manchester.
Yeah, hearing you being quite enthusiastic about it though, how does it feel to see so many struggling? Like you look at Leadmill in Sheffield, which is struggling. You know, the Manchester ones we just spoke about have all had their times of struggling. You must be seeing the benefit of them at a grassroots level now.
I think it's sad, really. I think there needs to be more funding with obviously like the industry in general, to be honest. It's a shame because like Paul was saying with the venue situation in Liverpool, it's like that it used to be such a, the place to go to watch live bands and stuff. And, I feel like Manchester is that now. Like we go to gigs a lot in Manchester. And it's just a shame, really, because like people pass through in Liverpool and it's like, they don't kind of miss it and don't play it because the lack of venue. So I
Yeah.
think, yeah, they need,
Also, all the good venues go. Like
yeah,
all the good venues, they last short amount of time, and then then they're gone. And I remember I never got to play it, but the Casimir was like everyone says that
Yeah,
it was one of the best venues, and it was like when you ask people in Liverpool like, oh, where did you see your favorite gig? It was always in the Casimir. Like it was just,
yeah,
and it's just I don't know. It frustrates me because like Liverpool, it's always like, oh, it's like the city music and stuff like that, which is true to some degree, but then they just don't kind of support it, so
yeah,
you can kind of, I don't know, it's frustrating. But
yeah. Well, you probably don't see that side of it if you're walking up Matthew Street and just see live music in every bar. You kind of just
yeah,
see it as that, don't you? If you're like a tourist visiting the city,
yeah,
but like for proper like grassroots venues, as you say, it maybe is. I've never really thought of it as lacking, but yeah, Casimir Stop Room now is that a thing? Is that
that's
just
like that's like not far from where the original Cas was,
Mhm.
but yeah, and like there's other venues like the Zanzibar is still there, but it's just it got shut down and then it got
Mm,
taken over and they kind of like there's just been loads of venues that were really good and then we're just gone like that.
Yeah.
yeah, yeah? When you say funding's needed, so I think there's talk of a 1% levy, isn't there, or a £1 levy for some of the larger venues to help them. How else do you think the industry could improve in that sense?
Well, it's hard, isn't it? Because it's like
I think just more attention on smaller venues and bands and stuff. Like, it's going to be harder for bands to kind of come through if there's no place for them to play.
Mm,
And I think, even like art colleges and I don't know, like campaigns and stuff could help fund that. And, I don't
I
know how it works really, but like,
I think
mm,
it'd be good like if like the bands that can sell out arenas in about 3 minutes. I think it'd be cool if they could kind of like at the end of like a world tour that they could kind of put like a chunk of their
yeah,
their money into like this pot, and that kind of just gets spread around the UK. Do you know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Or
But
even if they played smaller venues at the end of the tour.
yeah, I don't know. There's ways of doing it, like, but
Yeah.
it's hard, isn't it?
Yeah. Do you see it changing though? Because things looking in now look like the progress. I think it's been proposed to the government, but you're obviously there doing it now. So do you see any improvements?
I think I see an improvement in the like. I remember when I first started gigging that not a lot of people like went to gigs. Do you know what I mean? Every time you go and see your mate's band, there'd be about 10 people there. Whereas now you go and it's people go to gigs more often, is what I mean.
Yeah.
Especially after COVID, I think that kind of like reminded everyone of how like, you know, fun gigs were to go to and people wanted to be around each other and stuff. And it's not just about the gig, it's about being around people and, you know, enjoying it as like a shared experience. So I think that kind of reminded people of how, you know, important things are to go to with friends or family and whatever.
Mm.
I think it will improve.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you go to that Sefton Park gig when it
But
all
literally,
reopened?
before, that's weird. That I was just before I joined this, I was thinking about that. I did, yeah.
Yeah.
That was and my mate Ben was playing bass for Zuzu,
Mm.
and I remember like just instantly like, oh, I wish I was doing that. You know what I mean? Like I'd forgotten how like how much I loved it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because you'd had like 18 months off or whatever,
Mm.
and yeah, it was boss. That it was a boss. It was a great day. That
Yeah. I think in
Sefton
terms of
Park,
timeline. Sorry, go on.
we bossed to play Sefton Park one day. I think that's like something that would be great for like us as like an achievement eventually.
Mm. Yeah.
I
Hasn't
watched
Jamie
somebody went there.
Webster's just announced it, didn't he? I think is he playing that?
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think Richard Ashcroft is as well, isn't he, with the
No,
Zooton?
he's doing Wigan Park.
Oh yeah, that makes sense.
Catfish are doing it. Catfish are doing Sefton Park.
Oh yeah, that'll be good.
Down the road.
So that's what you got your sights on then, Sefton Park headline.
Yeah.
maybe one day.
Yeah. I feel like we've barely touched on the album, so I'll go back onto it just as a closer. Really, what are you excited for fans to hear? That well, we've got 2 singles now, haven't we, from the record? So, are there any you've kind of kept in the locker that you're excited for people to hear?
Yeah, we've got another single coming out in 10th of June.
I think it's a bit later than that.
Oh no, that's yeah. Oh yeah, it is. But no, we're looking forward to people hearing that one because I feel like it's the one that everyone's been pushing us to release fan wise and stuff, and
Mm.
it kind of got a lot of attention on the Arctic tour, so that was nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, so excited to give that to people.
Yeah. So you've had a chance to kind of test the waters live then with these new tracks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I don't want to go back to, well, I say I'm about to go back onto COVID, but I imagine that hampered first album plans, didn't it? You would have had a lot in the locker that you couldn't really test out. So is this kind of this is the first run you've had at it clear with no interruptions for this record?
Yeah, I suppose. I really thought about it like that, to be honest. Like, I guess it's probably the first time we played a record that isn't out yet live because the earlier stuff we were gigging before the first records was like just like stuff that probably didn't make the records or was like released years ago. So yeah, I suppose that has been quite fun actually.
Yeah.
It's good to see that people like know the words to the tunes and stuff before it's out, and that's always like, you know, really nice to see.
Yeah. And where does it go from here then? Looking forward, you've done a headline, not headline slot, support slot we discussed with Arctics, who have very much followed the nose and stuck to the guns and done what they want to do rather than what maybe they should have done in the eyes of some fans and management. Is that how you see your path going? Keep doing it your way.
Yeah, defo. I think that's like the only way that we probably would know how to do it, really. You know, we're not gonna kind of ever try to be something we're not because
Yeah.
just not like that as people. I think, yeah, it's not even an intentional thing. I think we just do what we want, like what we would listen to. Do you know what I mean? Like if we like it, then we'll do
Where,
it that way.
where do you think it could lead though, in terms of music wise? What do you see you doing a concept album about a hotel on the moon?
I'd quite like to do that, yeah.
Yeah,
That's been done though, so we'd have to find we'd have to do a different
planet.
different yeah. Yeah, maybe one day, yeah.
Sounds good. No, thanks very much for your time.
Boss,
And,
thank you very much.
nice
Cheers,
one.
mate.
Cheers.
Have a good
Bye.
day, mate. See you.
Bye.
You too. Cheers. Bye.